Welcome back to Footnotes Folly, and to Henry VI. I am Pemberton. This is part 2, and while the lion Talbot still fights in France, the true danger is being born quietly at home. First, the French Countess, the Lady of Auvergne, thinks to snare the great Talbot by inviting him alone to her castle and learns that the lion does not come unattended. Then, in a garden by the Temple in London, a handful of young noblemen fall to arguing a point of law, and the quarrel turns symbolic. One plucks a white rose, another a red, and each man's hand chooses a side. From that small, petulant act will grow the bloodiest feud in English history. We learn its root when the dying old prisoner Edmund Mortimer reveals to his nephew Richard Plantagenet that the crown, by right of blood, should have come to their line. And in Parliament the good boy King Henry, trying to make peace, reconciles the brawling Gloucester and Winchester and gives Plantagenet back his father's title, making him Duke of York, and lighting a long fuse. Let us go on.
The Countess enters with her porter. "Porter, remember the orders I gave you. When you have carried them out, bring the keys to me." "Madam, I will." The porter exits. The trap is set. If everything turns out as planned, this deed will make me as famous as Sethi and Thomiris became through the death of Cyrus. Stories about this terrible knight are great, and his deeds are said to be just as great. I would gladly let my eyes judge what my ears have heard, and decide for myself whether these remarkable reports are true. A messenger enters with Talbot. "Madam, as your ladyship requested by message, Lord Talbot has come. He is welcome." "What, is this the man?" "Madam, it is." "Is this the scourge of France? Is this the Talbot who is so feared abroad that mothers quiet their babies with his name? I see that rumor is full of tales and lies. I thought I would see some Hercules, a second Hector, with a grim face and the large build of powerful limbs. But this is only a child, a foolish little dwarf. It cannot be that this weak, wrinkled shrimp has struck such terror into his enemies. Madam, I have been bold enough to trouble you. But since your ladyship is not free to see me, I will arrange some other time to visit you. What does he mean now? Go ask him where he is going." "Stay, my Lord Talbot. My lady wishes to know the reason for your sudden departure." "Why, because she believes wrongly. I am going to prove to her that Talbot is here." The porter enters with keys. "If you are he, then you are my prisoner." "Prisoner? To whom?" "To me, bloodthirsty lord. That is why I lured you to my house. For a long time your shadow has been captive to me, because your portrait hangs in my gallery. But now the living man shall suffer the same fate. I will chain these legs and arms of yours, which for so many years have tyrannized over our country, killed our citizens, and sent our sons and husbands away as prisoners." "Ha ha ha! Are you laughing, wretch? Your laughter will turn to sorrow. I laugh to see your ladyship so foolish as to think you have anything but Talbot's shadow on which to practice your severity. Why, are you not the man?" "I am indeed." "Then I have the substance too." "No, no. I am only the shadow of myself. You are deceived. My substance is not here. What you see is only the smallest part, the least piece of the full man. I tell you, madam, if the whole body were here, it would be so vast and high that your roof would not be large enough to hold it. This fellow speaks in riddles on purpose. He says he will be here, and yet he is not here. How can these contradictions agree? I will show you at once." Talbot winds his horn. Drums begin to beat, cannon fire sounds, and soldiers enter. "What do you say, madam? Are you now convinced that Talbot is only the shadow of himself? These men are his substance, his sinews, his arms, and his strength. With them he yokes your rebellious necks, tears down your cities, overthrows your towns, and in a moment makes them desolate. Horrius Talbot, pardon my insult. I see that you are no less than fame is proclaimed, and more than anyone could judge from your appearance. Do not let my presumption provoke your anger, for I am sorry that I did not receive you with the reverence due to what you are. Do not be alarmed, fair lady, and do not misunderstand Talbot's mind as you misunderstood the outward form of his body. What you have done has not offended me. I ask for no other satisfaction except, with your patience, that we may taste your wine and see what delicacies you have, for soldiers always have good appetites. With all my heart, and believe that I am honored to feast so great a warrior in my house." They exit. The Earls of Somerset, Suffolk, and Warwick enter the Temple Garden in London with Richard Plantagenet, Vernon, and another lawyer. "Great lords and gentlemen, why is everyone silent? Does no one dare answer when the matter is the truth? We were too loud inside the Temple Hall. This garden is a better place for it. Then say plainly whether I defended the truth, or whether quarrelsome Somerset was the one in error. Honestly, I have been a truant from the law, and have never been able to bend my will to it, so I bend the law to suit my will. Then judge between us, my Lord of Warwick. Between two hawks, which flies higher, between two dogs, which has the deeper bark, between two blades, which has the better temper, between two horses, which carries its rider best, between two girls, which has the merrier eye. In such things I may have some small judgment. But in these fine, sharp legal quibbles, honestly, I am no wiser than a jackdaw. Come, come, this is very polite restraint. The truth stands so plainly on my side that even a dim eye could find it. and on my side it is so well dressed, so clear, so shining, and so obvious that it would gleam through a blind man's eye. Since you are tongue-tied and so unwilling to speak, declare your thoughts by silent signs. Let any man who is a true-born gentleman, and who stands on the honor of his birth, if he believes I have argued the truth, pluck a white rose from this briar with me. Let any man who is no coward and no flatterer, but dares to uphold the side of truth, pluck a red rose from this thorn with me. I care nothing for colors, and without any color of base, insinuating flattery, I pluck this white rose with Plantagenet. I pluck this red rose with young Somerset, and I also say I think he argued the right side. Wait, lords and gentlemen, and pluck no more until you agree that the man whose side has the fewest roses picked from the tree must yield to the other as having the right opinion. Good Master Vernon, that is well proposed. If I have the fewest, I will accept it in silence. And so will I. Then for the truth and plainness of the case, I pluck this pale and maiden blossom here, giving my verdict on the white rose side. Do not prick your finger as you pluck it off, in case your blood paints the white rose red and brings you over to my side against your will. If I bleed for my opinion shall be the surgeon to my wound and keep me on the side where I still stand. Well, come on. Who else? The lawyer turns to Somerset. Unless my studies and my books are false, the argument you made was wrong in law. As a sign of that, I pluck a white rose too. Now, Somerset, where is your argument? Here in my scabbard, thinking about what will dye your white rose bloody red. Meanwhile, your cheeks imitate our roses, because they look pale with fear, bearing witness to the truth on our side. No, Plantagenet, it is not fear but anger. Your cheeks blush from sheer shame to imitate our roses, and yet your tongue will not confess your error. Does your rose not have a canker, Somerset? Does your rose not have a thorn, Plantagenet? Yes, sharp and piercing, to defend its truth, while your consuming canker eats away at its falsehood. Well, I will find friends to wear my bleeding roses, friends who will maintain that what I have said is true, or false Plantagenet dares not be seen. Now by this maiden blossom in my hand, I scorn you and your style, foolish boy. Do not turn your scorn this way, Plantagenet. Proud Pole, I will, and I scorn both him and you. I will turn my share of that scorn back into your throat. Come away, good William de la Pole. We honor this yeoman too much by speaking with him. Now, by God's will, you wrong him, Somerset. His grandfather was Lionel Duke of Clarence, third son of the 3rd Edward, King of England. Do crestless yeomen spring from so deep a root? He relies on the privilege of this place, or else his coward's heart would not dare speak that way. By him who made me, I will defend my words on any piece of ground in Christendom. Was not your father, Richard Earl of Cambridge, executed for treason in our late king's days? And by his treason, are you not attainted, corrupted, and cut off from ancient gentility? His offence still lives guilty in your blood, and until you are restored, you are a yeoman. My father was arrested, not attainted, condemned to die for treason, but no traitor. I will prove that against better men than Somerset, once growing time has ripened to my will. As for your supporter Pole and for you yourself, I will write you in the book of my memory, to punish you for this insult. Look to it well, and say you were well warned. Ah, you will always find us ready for you. Know us by these colors as your enemies, for these friends of mine shall wear them in spite of you. And by my soul, this pale and angry rose, as the badge of my blood, drinking hatred I and my faction will wear forever, until it withers with me to my grave or flourishes to the height of my rank. Go on then, and choke on your ambition. And so farewell until I meet you next. Suffolk exits. I am with you, Pole. Farewell, ambitious Richard. Somerset exits. How they defy me, and I must endure it by force. This stain they throw against your house shall be wiped away in the next Parliament, called because of the truce between Winchester and Gloucester. If you are not then created York, I will not live to be counted Warwick. Meanwhile, as a sign of my love for you against proud Somerset and William Pole, I will wear this rose on your side. And here I prophesy, this quarrel today, grown into this faction in the Temple Garden, shall send 1,000 souls between the red rose and the white to death and deadly night. Good Master Vernon, I am indebted to you for plucking a flower on my behalf. On your behalf I will still wear the same. And so will I. Thank you, gentlemen. Come, let the 4 of us go to dinner. I dare say this quarrel will drink blood another day. They all exit. Mortimer is brought and seated in a chair, with jailers attending him. Kind keepers of my weak and failing old age, let dying Mortimer rest here. My limbs feel like those of a man just dragged from the rack, worn out by long imprisonment. These grey hairs, messengers of death, aged like Nestor through an age of care, show that Edmund Mortimer is near his end. These eyes are like lamps whose oil is spent. They grow dim as they draw toward their last need. My shoulders are weak, weighed down by heavy grief, and my powerless arms are like a withered vine drooping its sapless branches to the ground. Yet these feet, numb and too weak to support this lump of clay, are swift with desire to reach a grave, since I know I have no other comfort. But tell me, keeper, will my nephew come? Richard Plantagenet, my lord, will come. We sent to his chamber at the Temple, and the answer returned was that he will come. Enough. Then my soul will be satisfied. Poor gentleman, his wrong equals mine. Since Henry Monmouth first began to reign, before whose glory I was great in arms, I have endured this hateful confinement, and ever since then Richard too has been kept in obscurity, deprived of honor and inheritance. But now the judge of hopeless men, just death, the kind umpire of human miseries, dismisses me from here with sweet release. I wish his troubles were ended likewise, so that he might recover what was lost. Richard Plantagenet enters. My lord, your loving nephew has now come. Richard Plantagenet, my friend, has he come? Yes, noble uncle, so shamefully treated. Your nephew, lately despised Richard, comes. Guide my arms so I may embrace his neck, and breathe my last breath against his breast. Oh, tell me when my lips touch his cheeks, so I may lovingly give one fainting kiss. And now tell me, sweet branch from York's great stock, why did you recently say you were despised? First, lean your aged back against my arm, and while you are at ease, I will tell you my trouble. Today, during an argument over a legal matter, some words passed between Somerset and me. Among them, he let his loose tongue run on and reproached me with my father's death. That insult locked my tongue behind bars, otherwise I would have repaid him in kind. Therefore, good uncle, for my father's sake, in honor of a true Plantagenet, and for the sake of our kinship, tell me the reason my father, Earl of Cambridge, lost his head. That same cause, fair nephew, which imprisoned me, and has kept me all my flowering youth in a hateful dungeon, there to waste away, was the cursed instrument of his death. Explain more fully what that cause was, for I do not know it and cannot guess. I will, if my fading breath allows it, and death does not arrive before my tale is done. Henry IV, grandfather to this king, deposed his nephew Richard, Edward's son, the firstborn and lawful heir of King Edward, the third of that line. During Richard's reign, the Percys of the north, finding Henry's seizure of the crown most unjust, tried to advance me to the throne. The reason that moved those warlike lords to do this was that young King Richard, being removed and leaving no child of his own body, left me next in line by birth and parentage. Through my mother I am descended from Lionel Duke of Clarence, third son of King Edward III, whereas Henry traced his descent from John of Gaunt, only the fourth son of that heroic line. But mark this, while in that proud and great attempt they labored to set up the rightful heir, I lost my liberty, and they lost their lives. Long after this, when Henry V succeeded his father Boling, broken reign, your father, then Earl of Cambridge, descended from famous Edmund Langley, Duke of York, and having married my sister, who was your mother, again took pity on my harsh distress. He raised an army, hoping to redeem me and install me in the crown. But like the others, that noble earl fell and was beheaded. Thus the Mortimers, in whom the title rested, were suppressed. And of the Mortimers, my lord, your honor is the last. True, and you see that I have no children, and that my failing words prove death is near. You are my heir, the rest I wish you to gather for yourself. But be cautious in your careful study of it. Your solemn warnings will guide me. Yet still I think my father's execution was nothing less than bloody tyranny. Be silent, nephew, and be politically wise. The house of Lancaster is strongly fixed, like a mountain, not to be moved. But now your uncle is moving from here, as princes move their courts when they are weary of remaining too long in one settled place. Oh, uncle, I wish some part of my young years could redeem the passage of your age. Then you wrong me, like a killer who gives many wounds when one would be enough to kill. Do not mourn unless you grieve for my good. Only arrange my funeral. And so farewell. May all your hopes be fair, and may your life prosper in peace and war. Mortimer dies. And may peace, not war, befall your departing soul. You have spent a pilgrimage in prison, and passed your days like a hermit. Well, I will lock his counsel in my heart, and whatever I imagine doing, let that rest there. Keepers, carry him away, and I myself will see that his burial is better than his life. The jailers go out carrying Mortimer's body. Here dies the darkened torch of Mortimer, choked by the ambition of lesser men. And as for those wrongs, those bitter injuries, which Somerset has offered to my house, I do not doubt that I will redress them with honor. Therefore I hurry to the Parliament, either to be restored to my blood and rank, or to turn my misfortune into the means of my good. Plantagenet exits. A flourish sounds. The king enters with Exeter, Gloucester, the Bishop of Winchester, Richard Plantagenet, Warwick, Somerset, Suffolk, and others. Gloucester tries to present a written complaint. Winchester snatches it and tears it up. Do you come with carefully planned accusations, with written papers artfully prepared, Humphrey of Gloucester? If you can accuse me, or mean to charge me with anything, do it plainly and at once without inventions. I intend to answer just as suddenly and without preparation, whatever you can object against me. Presumptuous priest, this place forces me to be patient, or you would learn how deeply you have insulted me. Do not think that because I put the account of your vile, outrageous crimes in writing, I have therefore made them up, or cannot repeat word for word the order of what I wrote. No, prelate. Your bold wickedness, your filthy, poisonous, quarrelsome tricks, are so notorious that even infants babble about your pride. You are a most destructive usurer, stubborn by nature, an enemy to peace, lustful and wanton beyond what suits a man of your profession and rank. As for your treachery, what could be clearer than this? You set traps to take my life, both at London Bridge and at the Tower. Besides, I fear that if your thoughts were searched, even the king, your sovereign, would not be free from the envious malice swelling in your heart. Gloucester, I defy you. My lords, please hear what I shall answer. If I were greedy, ambitious, or perverse as he claims, why am I so poor? Why is it that I do not try to advance or raise myself, but keep to my usual calling? And as for discord, who values peace more than I do, unless I am provoked? No, my good lords, that is not what offends him. That is not what has inflamed the duke. It is because no one must have power but him, no one but him must be near the king. That breeds thunder in his breast, and makes him roar out these accusations. But he shall know I am as good. As good? You bastard of my grandfather. Yes, lordly sir. And what are you, I pray, but a man ruling imperiously from another's throne? Am I not protector, insolent priest? And am I not a prelate of the church? Yes, the way an outlaw holds a castle and uses it to shelter his theft. Irreverent Gloucester, you are reverend in your spiritual office, not in your life. Rome shall remedy this. Then Rome there. My lord, it would be your duty to restrain yourself. Yes, provided the bishop is not overborne. I think my lord should be treated with religious respect, and men should know what honor belongs to such a man. I think his lordship should be humbler. It does not suit a prelate to argue so. Yes, when his holy dignity is touched so closely. Holy dignity or unholy, what of it? Is not his grace protector to the king? Aside. Plantagenet, I see, must hold his tongue, or people will say, speak, sirrah, only when you should. Must your bold judgment enter into talk with lords? Otherwise, I would strike a blow at Winchester too. Uncles of Gloucester and of Winchester, special guardians of England's welfare, I would persuade you, if prayers could persuade, to join your hearts in love and friendship. Oh, what a scandal it is to our crown that two such noble peers as you should quarrel. Believe me, lords, though I am young, I can tell that civil division is a poisonous worm that gnaws at the heart of the commonwealth. A noise is heard within. Down with the tawny coats. What uproar is this? A riot, I would wager, begun through the malice of the bishop's men. The noise rises again. Stones. Stones. The mayor enters. O my good lords and virtuous Henry, pity the city of London, pity us. The bishop's men and the Duke of Gloucester's men, lately forbidden to carry any weapons, have filled their pockets with pebbles. They have divided into opposing sides, and are pelting one another's heads so fast that many have had their dizzy brains knocked out. Our windows are broken in every street, and from fear we have been forced to shut our shops. Servingmen enter skirmishing, their heads bloody. On your allegiance to us, we command you to stop your murderous hands and keep the peace. Please, Uncle Gloucester, calm this quarrel. No. We are forbidden stones. We will fight with our teeth. Do whatever you dare. We are just as determined. They skirmish again. You of my household, leave this foolish brawl, and put aside the strange kind of fighting. My lord, we know your grace to be a just and upright man, and by your royal birth inferior to no one except his majesty. Before we allow such a prince, such a kind father of the commonwealth, to be disgraced by an ink-pot clerk, we, and our wives and children too, will fight and have our bodies slaughtered by your enemies. Yes, and even the parings of our nails shall fight a battle after we are dead. They begin again. Stop, stop, I say. And if you love me, as you say you do, let me persuade you to hold back a while. Oh, how this discord afflicts my soul. Can you, my lord of Winchester, look on my sighs and tears and not relent even once? Who should be merciful if you are not? Who should work to advance peace if holy churchmen take delight in quarrels? Yield, my lord protector, yield, Winchester, unless by stubborn refusal you mean to kill your sovereign and destroy the realm. You see what mischief and murder have already been done through your enmity. Be at peace, unless you thirst for blood. He shall submit, or I will never yield. Pity for the king commands me to stoop, otherwise I would see the priest's heart out before he ever gained that privilege from me. Look, my lord of Winchester, the duke has banished his sullen, discontented fury, as his smooth brow shows. Why do you still look so stern and tragic? Here, Winchester, I offer you my hand. Shame, Uncle Beaufort. I have heard you preach that malice is a great and grievous sin. Will you not uphold the thing you teach, but prove yourself a chief offender in the same fault? Sweet king, the bishop has received a kindly rebuke. For shame, my lord of Winchester, relent. Shall a child teach you what to do? Well, Duke of Gloucester, I will yield to you. Love for your love, and hand for hand I give. Aside. Yes, but I fear with a false heart. See here, my friends and loving countrymen, this token serves as a flag of truce between ourselves and all our followers. So help me God, I am not pretending. Aside. So help me God, I do not mean it. O loving uncle, kind Duke of Gloucester, how joyful this agreement makes me. Away, my masters. Trouble us no more, but join in friendship as your lords have done. Content. I will go to the surgeons. And so will I. And I will see what medicine the tavern can provide. The servingmen, mayor, and others exit. Accept this scroll, most gracious sovereign, which we present to your majesty on behalf of Richard Plantagenet. Well urged, my lord of Warwick. For, sweet prince, if your grace considers every circumstance, you have great reason to do Richard justice, especially because of those matters I told your majesty about at Eltham Place. and those matters uncle carried weight. Therefore, my loving lords, it is our pleasure that Richard be restored to his blood. Let Richard be restored to his blood, and so his father's wrongs shall be repaid. As the rest will it, so wills Winchester. If Richard will be faithful, I give him not only that, but the whole inheritance that belongs to the house of York, from which you spring by direct descent. Your humble servant vows obedience and humble service until the point of death. Then stoop and set your knee against my foot. In reward for that duty done, I gird you with the valiant sword of York. Rise, Richard, like a true Plantagenet, and rise, created princely Duke of York. And may Richard prosper as your enemies fall. As my duty grows, so may they perish who grudge even one thought against your majesty. Welcome, High Prince, the mighty Duke of York. Aside. Perish, base prince, ignoble Duke of York. Now it will best serve your majesty to cross the seas and be crowned in France. The presence of a king breeds love among his subjects and loyal friends, just as it disheartens his enemies. When Gloucester gives the word, King Henry goes, for friendly counsel cuts off many foes. Your ships are already prepared. A senate and flourish sound. All exit except Exeter. Yes, we may march in England or in France without seeing what is likely to follow. This recent quarrel that has grown between the peers burns beneath the false ashes of pretended love, and at last it will break out into flame. As infected limbs rot by degrees until bones, flesh, and sinews fall away, so this base and envious discord will breed decay. And now I fear that fatal prophecy which, in the time of Henry named V, was in the mouth of every nursing child, that Henry born at Monmouth would win all, and Henry born at Windsor would lose all. It is so plain that Exeter wishes his days may end before that unhappy time comes. Exeter exits.
And there we pause, with 2 roses plucked and a claim revived. The king means nothing but good, and every kind thing he does only arms the men who will one day tear his crown apart, for in restoring Richard Plantagenet to the dukedom of York he has set up the very rival house that will challenge his own. Abroad the war goes on, at home the seed of civil war is planted and watered. Next time, in part 3, a town lost to a trick, the death of a great regent, a duke seduced from his allies, a boy crowned in Paris, and the Lion of England led toward a trap. Mind the footnotes, and beware the folly.